welcome to our third meeting of the year. We are really excited today to have our second guest speaker, Tom Keffury of K-JUG and the California Mid-State Fair. Hi, Tom. And he'll take it from here. So, thank you, Tom. Was that good enough?
That was great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
When did you guys start?
Good morning. Hi. So we're going to talk about what I do real quick, and then what you guys do a whole lot, and what's wrong with the world, and what's the worst thing about you, and Twitter, and Facebook, and Aerosmith, and Shots, and John Mayer, and Corby Delay, and the greatest rock and roll band of all time.
Also known as U2.
Cool. You blew it. I do three things. I'm the and I like pictures much more than words and stuff. These pictures are so much cooler, and I love rock and roll concerts, and so you're going to see a lot of pictures today and a few words. I do three things. One of the things I do is I'm the director of marketing for the California Mid-State Fair, which means I have the privilege of marketing the concerts that come to the fair each summer. Second thing I do is I sell corporate sponsorships for the fair. This is where a large portion of our income comes. We have about 80 clients who sponsor the fair. The local sponsor will spend around $9,000 to $10,000 a year in their corporate sponsorship. We have big names like Budweiser, Pepsi. We have mom and pop businesses on the other end of that. Everybody wants to be a part of the fair. And then also in the mornings, I work at the K-JUG, the radio station. Kelsey the intern, that she works in the mornings a couple days a week too. I do a morning show from 6 to 9, and I've been doing that for about 4 years, playing country music. What is most important to consumers? Who knows who that is? Who said that? Who else knows who that is? Rob Thomas, Matchbox 20. Concert at the fair a couple of years ago. Rob Thomas is an incredible songwriter, has a solo career. Matchbox 20, pretty solid. The most important thing to consumers is consistency. Don't write it down. You'll remember it. I'm only going to say 4 important. Rob Thomas did something very, very cool. They understood what was important to the consumer. So when they had their meet and greet backstage before the concert, when normally the artists are in a mad rush to escort you through and hurry up and take your picture and let me sign something for you and put on the fake shake the hand and put on the fake smile and everybody gather around, Matchbox 20 said, we're not going to do it that way. Tom, we want you to bring your guests up 3 or 4 at a time, and we are going to personally introduce ourselves to every one of your guests. And then we're going to have a conversation for a minute or two. And we're going to talk about things that they want to talk about. What's going on? You're here for the first time? Why Paso Robles? Have you seen us before? And they actually engaged in a brief conversation with every single person in that 30-person meet and greet exclusive thing that happened before their concert. At the end of it, then they took a little quick picture, and off they went. He got it, they got it, that nowadays anybody can sell an 8x10 autographed picture on eBay and say that Rob Thomas signed it. But those memories that you have, if you were in that group of talking to Rob Thomas and the other 3 guys in the band, who I don't know their name, those were going to stick with you for a long time, probably the rest of your life. And it's also going to cause a considerable amount of goodwill. And as we talk to a public relations class, where public relations is such an important thing, creating goodwill, word of mouth goodwill, is really almost a necessity. Unlike Matchbox 20, who thought and knew that it was all about the end user, he thought, and his band thought, it was all about him, and you would enjoy being in his presence. He was extremely narcissistic. And it is a problem, and I'm not going to be grumpy old man here and say that it's a problem with today's youth, that we're all narcissistic and we all have MySpace and Facebook pages. It's a problem in general, okay? So it's one thing to be cool and make your page and MySpace it up and Facebook friend and everybody's cool and where are you right now, okay? But it's another thing to be so wrapped up in it that you forget the end user. And whether, especially if you're in a business setting, like he's in a business setting meeting some of his fans who bought his CD, who made him the millions of dollars that he has, and he's going to be a jerk to those type of people and kind of say, look at me, yeah, hey, how you doing? Great, all right, you're great, oh, you look good, you know, stop. And I will tell you, no, I'm not going to be grumpy old man here, I will tell you, the older you get, and I'm 42, the older you get, the less selfish and self-focused you become. You kind of realize that that's not the way I want to live the rest of my life. And hey, I told you, I graduated in beer and baseball and probably babes, if I'm going to be honest with you too. I was a selfish jerk a-hole myself. I get it. I understand it, okay? But there's a time to kind of grow up and a time to kind of change and a time that you realize that it's not about you, it's about somebody else. So back to my old guy. If we're still the people that are hiring you and you go out to try to get a job, you got to kind of play our game. Does that make sense? So again, I'm not going old guy on you saying, today's youth is so narcissistic and all you care about is your MySpace or Facebook, you know, blah. All I'm saying is that we're hiring you. And as long as this generation is hiring you, you need to come into it with some focus on them, not me. What do I mean by that? If I sit here and if I'm interviewing you and I say, hey, did you, honest to God, question I got, question and answer I got. You watched American Idol last week? The answer was no, but I once dated somebody named Simon. I kid you not, this is the answer. Okay, follow the line of thought here. I'm asking a question in an interview setting, so did you see American Idol last night? I'm trying to bond, I'm trying to get a relationship going, I'm trying to talk, and the first thing out of this young lady's mouth was no, but I once dated a guy named Simon. I gotta tell you, for guys like me, sends us over the edge. I so don't care. I so don't care that you dated Simon. Okay? But it was all about her and all about her Facebook page and her 437 friends, and she went out with a guy named Simon last night and blah, 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 blah. Okay? Again, so just keep it in mind. I would tell you right now to be an expert at something. Everybody is expected nowadays to know a little about everything. So it's not good enough to know a little bit about everything. As an employer, I expect you to know how to operate Microsoft Word. I expect you to know how to send an email. I expect you to understand Excel. I expect you to be able to swim in those waters. But and by the way, I bet everybody can. But what I don't expect, and what is awesome when I see it every now and then, is when you're an expert at something. Say, hey, yeah, Tom, I am an expert at Microsoft Word. I know everything there is to know about Microsoft Word. You give me a document and I will make it sizzle for you. Okay? Seriously. Nobody does that anymore because for so long it's been enough to just know enough to get by. It also takes some work because I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to read the manual. You need to take an extra class. You need to practice every day. That's what it takes to be an expert at something. They go out, they're 60 years old, they practice their shows. Do you know that? They practice their concerts before they go out. I mean, how many shows have they done? You think they would not need to practice? They practice their shows. So, advice number one, be an expert at something. Find something that you really like, that's almost a hobby but can be used in a job setting, and really know it. Really become an expert at it, okay? Something that can help your employer down the road. Nose ring and all. And by the way, he is one of the ugliest humans you'll ever see. Unreal ugly, unreal ugly. What have editors forgotten about? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Please, when you write stories and you write press releases, please, please, please go back to 3rd grade and remember to put in who, what, when, where, why, and how.